You just did it again. Your comment proves to the greatest possible extent that you are all psychotic. You state, get a life. But it is 100% impossible and it has been proven to the greatest possible extent that it is 100% impossible to have a social or professional life. This is torture. It is unbearable, inhumane torture that would cause most people to commit suicide multiple times a day if it were possible. And it is 100%, and I can prove it in a court of law right now. You rejected it all. You rejected all your thousands of crimes, the existence of all of your crimes and atrocities, thousands of crimes and atrocities, the worst dehumanization, defamation, and humiliation in the history of the free world. Mark my words, write it down, because I will prove it in court to the greatest possible extent. You should all be vomiting right now. But no, you reject your atrocities. You state, no, get a life, as if that would be possible, but it is not. There is nothing wrong with me. I'm 100% innocent. I'm a good person. I did nothing wrong to anyone. I was never mentally ill. I never had a mental health problem. I did nothing wrong. You tortured me, all of you, every day, and you laughed. You rewarded the main guilty criminals, and you laughed. You're a psychotic embarrassment to our species. All of you should be vomiting, and none of you should be able to sleep at night after what you did to me. You should all be in the streets right now, protesting, starting riots until the main guilty criminals are sent to prison, until justice is allowed to happen in a court of law, because I can prove everything. They must all be sent to prison, every cent that they were given for the crimes committed against me. Everything they have now is the result of being rewarded for crimes committed against an innocent good person in a psychopathic manner that caused more harm and pain than any of you will ever be able to comprehend or endure. A guilty society of monsters. Every day it is the same. I step outside of the house, everyone makes up false stories. The same behavioral patterns at the core of every false story is on and on and on. Hundreds of false stories on each topic, and 100% of them are false. 100%. This was what happened every day since the start of this phenomenon. Inhumane torture. My entire youth is gone. I'm psychologically scarred and my future health is destroyed. And I will experience infinite pain every second of my life until I die of a heart attack decades before my time is due. And you are all guilty. You all have my blood on your hands, all of you. 100%, all of you. And you should all be vomiting right now. Every single one of you. You are all guilty. You laughed in my face and you all rewarded the many guilty criminals every day. And now you prove to be extremely pathetic beyond anything seen before in history. You reject the existence of your crimes, the existence of the crimes of the main guilty criminals that you rewarded, the psychopathic intentions beyond everyone's crimes, and the horrifying consequences. You continue the worst injustice in the history of the free world, an enormous human rights violation that should make an entire planet vomit. You are all an embarrassment to our species. You rejected the truth. I wrote the truth down. I wrote common sense down. I provided more evidence. You rejected it all, as always. Mass psychosis beyond anything seen before in history. In history. At least in the history of the free world. And I'm 100% right. If justice would be allowed to take place in a court of law, right now I'd prove everything. Everything. Literally everything, word for word, everything. More than 1,000 criminals would be sent to prison. More than 1,000. And I can prove it all in court right now. I will prove my innocence. I'll prove my sanity. I'll prove everything. Everything. Right now. In a court of law. I can prove everything right now. I can prove that the deal is 100% illegal. I can prove that the trial is 100% illegal. I can prove that everyone knew this and everyone is corrupt and everyone who participated in it must be sent to prison. Government officials, my parents, everyone knew. Everyone was corrupted. I can prove it right now. You are psychotic. You refuse to let justice happen in court because I can prove everything. And then you pretended that you do that based on your psychotic pretext and psychotic justifications. You rationalize everything in psychotic manners and then refuse to admit to your atrocities. You're a psychotic embarrassment to our species. Your comment would have made most people kill themselves. Mark my words, because it is true and I can prove it in court. More pain every second of my life, every day, beyond anything that you can possibly comprehend or endure. This is the worst psychological torture to ever exist. Write this down because it is true. And I will prove it in a court of law, and I can prove it today if you let justice happen in a court of law. The deal must be nullified, but you become forever more psychotic in an attempt to pretend that it shouldn't. to make it seem legal when it is 100% illegal, and everybody knows this, because no one wants to let the innocent victim of society prove everything in a court of law. Infinite pain beyond anything seen, and beyond anything that you can possibly imagine. Infinite hypocrisy. An entire society being collectively completely psychotic because it is all guilty, and none of you can live with your lives knowing what you have done, so you rejected it all so you can sleep at night. An embarrassment to our species. The entire planet should be vomiting now. There should be riots. Over 1,000 criminals must be sent to prison. The government called the truth paranoid delusions. And they torture me to silence me, and then everyone rewarded the guilty criminals, and when I step back into society, everyone committing the same crimes and subjecting me to the most horrifying humiliation, disrespect, defamation, and dehumanization in history, while rewarding the same criminals and adding even more criminals to the list of criminals that they rewarded. Infinite humiliation, everyone would have killed themselves. I should be praised for eternity, for remaining sane, for not exhibiting any extreme behavior, and for being able to organize myself to gather proof, to present proof and common sense. I should be praised for eternity for that. I had more potential in life to succeed than all the criminals that you rewarded, all of them. Write this down because I can prove it in a court of law. Write it down. You took my entire life away. You stole my youth. You made it 100% impossible to have a social or professional life. You subjected me to torture. You destroyed my life, my future health, everything. I don't want to make it to retirement age. I've been subjected to extreme stress every second of my life. The result of direct torture, inhumane torture that should make the entire planet vomit, and you all laughed in my face every day. Monsters. And you continue to do the same thing. You rejected the existence of your atrocities in psychotic manners behind my back on the global internet group and refuse to confront me because I can prove everything. Mass psychosis, literally mass psychosis. The infinite desire of a guilty society to reject the existence of its crimes so it can sleep at night is once again infinite. It has no limits. You continue to incriminate yourself in psychotic manners, to reject everything, to state, get a life as if that would be possible. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine socially. There's absolutely no problem with me of any kind. I never had any mental health problem. I never developed one when everyone else would have gone mad beyond repair. I kept my moral code intact when everyone else would have developed extreme behavior, would have lost track of all moral or legal boundaries, and this is an atrocity. An atrocity. You reject everything, you reject the existence of all your atrocities. Every day you do the same thing. I keep proving everything. I keep providing evidence and common sense and state the truth, and you continue to reject it in psychotic manners behind my back and refuse to let justice happen in court because I can prove everything. The greatest hypocrisy ever seen in the history of the free world. And right now I can prove everything. I have enough evidence to prove absolutely everything, and they must all be sent to prison. The law was never the obstacle, never. The lack of evidence is not an obstacle. I can prove everything. I could have proved my innocence from day one. You are psychotic. Over 1,000 criminals must be sent to prison, and you should all apologize to me for the rest of your lives for this atrocity of which you're all guilty. All of you, my blood is on your hands and you all know it. But you reject that fact. You reject the existence of your atrocities and continue to humiliate, disrespect me, defame me, and dehumanize me more than anyone else in history. You continue your atrocities every day. Every day you have the chance to say stop, to let justice happen in court, and every day you chose to commit more atrocities, more irreparable, infinite injustices. You continue to consolidate your place in history as an embarrassment to our species. You keep doing it. And your comment proves this to the greatest possible extent. It mirrors the mass psychosis going on in the private global group. A psychotic guilty society will become forever more psychotic in its execrable attempt to reject the existence of its atrocities. Mass psychosis. An embarrassment to our species that requires a revolution. None of you should be able to sleep at night. You are all guilty of this. You all did this. These monsters didn't reward themselves. You did. Every time someone committed a crime, you rewarded them. You consolidated their defaming stories as the truth, and then you all dehumanized me and laughed in my face, causing the greatest pain, the greatest psychological pain that one can possibly experience every day. And every day I suffered, and you all saw it, and you all laughed. And I wrote it down hundreds, thousands of times in the last decade. I stated, stop this, stop posting about me, I'm in pain. And you laughed. You knew what you were doing, all of you. You are all a psychotic embarrassment to our species. I stated let justice happen in court, you never did, because you knew that I could prove everything, and you didn't want to let your innocent victim prove the truth. The government, for your will, don't forget that, for your will, they tortured me, but you all wanted that. You supported that. They did that because of you. The government did exactly what it was designed to do. But this time, it represented the people through illegal actions because this is what the people wanted. The people wanted the victim silenced, so the government executed. They are guilty, they must all be sent to prison, but you're all also guilty. You did this. I was detained because I said the truth. I was illegally detained. I was illegally tortured. I was always mentally healthy. They destroyed my life and my future health. They destroyed everything, and you're all guilty, all of you. And you should apologize to me for eternity, and there should be a revolution to let justice happen in court, because I can prove everything, and everything that I state is exactly like I say it. I can prove it in a court of law, like right now, literally right now. You don't let justice happen in a court of law because of that exact reason. The greatest hypocrisy in the history of humanity. Infinite hypocrisy, literally mass psychosis. You have an entire delusional system. An entire delusional system, the most complex and disgusting to ever be seen in history. You build it up. False story over false story, false conclusion over false conclusion, psychotic storyline. All every day, more and more and more, for nearly a decade. And you created the most complex and disgusting delusional system to ever exist. You twisted the law of science, the law of proven science and common sense in psychotic manners in order to match your delusional system. And you came up with your psychotic conclusions that nothing can be done and that I wouldn't be able to prove anything, and that even if I would, the crimes that I say that have been committed would not be crimes, but I'm 100% right about everything and you all know it. And if you let justice happen in a court of law, I'll prove it, and I'll win every case and every argument against everyone, against all legal experts, against all courts, against all governments, against all people, and nothing is debatable. I can prove everything in a court of law like right now. Right now. There's nothing to debate. This is an embarrassment to our species, unrivaled in the history of the free world. An atrocity, a human rights violation so horrifying that none of you should be able to sleep at night knowing that you are part of it, and you are all part of it, 100% actively. You did this, you conditioned yourselves to exhibit this criminal and psychotic and psychopathic behavior toward me, against me. You did this. You rewarded all these monsters. Everyone learned. Everyone from all demographic groups, including the elderly and the children, everybody. You brainwashed your children to present the same psychopathic and criminal behavior, the next generation. That is irreparable. It should make the entire planet vomit. Everybody, from all demographics, from all countries, everybody displays the exact same psychopathic behavior because this is what the guilty society conditioned itself to do. I mean, the main criminals were rewarded for their psychopathic and criminal behavior. Everyone copied it because everybody wanted it to be rewarded. This phenomenon could have been 100% predicted, and I was the only person on the planet to predict this with 100% accuracy, and I was 100% right, and I have enough proof to prove everything in a court of law right now. This is an atrocity. This is an atrocity, and you're all guilty, and you all know it, and you all reject it in psychotic manners, and you won't let justice happen in court because I can prove everything right now. The greatest hypocrisy in the history of humanity. You pretend that nothing can be done, but everything can be done, and I can prove everything. Everything that I say that must happen must actually happen according to the law, and I can prove it. Infinite hypocrisy. Literally mass psychosis. You all know it, but you all pretend that you're not a problem, that you're not guilty, but you are all guilty. You all did this. And none of you admit it. None of you admit anything. You're all honorless, pathetic, infinitely pathetic. And you won't admit it. And you won't let justice happen in court because I can prove everything. You've done it again. Your comment proved to the greatest possible extent. You're all psychotic. No one stands up for the truth. Everyone commits more crimes. Everybody laughs. And if someone doesn't, they don't stand up for the truth. They're still guilty, but they remain neutral and they say it's not our problem, but it is your problem. You all did this. Silence is literally a crime. Literally. This is murder. It is 100% impossible to have a social or professional life. 100%. I just exist to be tortured. From the second I wake up to the second that I fall asleep in the greatest pain that you can possibly imagine. I'm slowly and horrifyingly being murdered. This is murder, and you are all the murderers. And you rewarded the main people who are committing this murder. This is torture. designed to slowly kill an innocent good person and reward criminals and laugh in the face of the innocent victim, causing the greatest possible pain that can possibly be imagined. And you admit to nothing. If it's the truth for what it truly is, there will be an instant revolution, and within a few minutes, the illegal deal would be nullified and everybody would be arrested. And I can prove everything in court, but you won't let it because of that exact reason. And you pretend that nothing can be done. You pretend that the deal would be legal when it is 100% illegal. And I can prove that in a court of law against all legal experts, against all judges, against all courts of any country, against all people. I can do that alone because I'm saying the truth, and you're all psychotic. Doesn't matter how smart you are, or your experience, or anything else. I state the truth, the logical truth that can 100% be proven in court. Well, you support psychotic aberrations. And it doesn't matter how much you twist the law in psychotic manners. The deal and trial are illegal or your information is false. No one had the right to do what he did. And I can prove everything. There is nothing to debate, there's nothing to negotiate. I can prove absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. Mass psychosis. And in the entire planet, it was me eternal apologies and a revolution. And I can prove it all in court. Let justice happen as it was always intended. You communists, you criminals, an embarrassment to our species. Revolution.